Good morning, everybody. I'm back. I'm in Deadwood, South Dakota. I'm at Mount Moriah Cemetery. I'm Mary Grace Wallace, one of the genealogists with Family Tree Nuts. I'm standing next to Wild Bill Hickok's graveside. It's kind of difficult to see. He's really tall. I'm kind of short, plus I'm on the ground below him. I gotta tell you, there's like deer and animals all around us in the cemetery. It's actually pretty neat. It's such a beautiful spot. If I could share this with you and show you everything that's here, it would take me all day. So you should come visit if you get a chance. He was a folk hero. He was an American frontiersman. He was a soldier. He was a lawman. He was a scout, a gambler, a showman, an actor. He was a gunfighter. He was on the right side of the law. He was on the wrong side of the law. He was born in Illinois and he headed west at the age of 18. He was actually named James Butler Hickok. He was born May 27, 1837. He died here in Deadwood, South Dakota, August 2nd, 1876. He was a spy and he fought for the Union Army during the Civil War. He worked as a stagecoach driver and a lawman in Kansas and in Nebraska. Wild Bill tried to start his own show, much like Buffalo Bill's show, in 1865 in New York. This is kind of interesting. He had 6 buffalo, a monkey, a bear, and those buffalo refused to act. Imagine. And that made Wild Bill angry. So, since the buffalo refused to act, Wild Bill's solution was to take his gun, fire it in the air, see if that would, I don't know, maybe get them to act. No disrespect. It didn't work. In fact, it scared all the animals. And this was an outside show. He didn't get any money for this show. He was angry that the buffalo wouldn't act, fired his shot into the air, scared the animals. The animals were in cages. So the animals broke out of their cages and trampled some of the audience members. As you can imagine, this show failed miserably. No money, and the audience members were trampled. So this was unsuccessful. Wild Bill moved on. In Hays City, Kansas, he became the deputy marshal. While he was in Hays City, he was asked to come scout for the 10th Cavalry. He was a really good scout. That was something that Wild Bill was really good at. And so he scouted for the 10th Cavalry, but eventually he returned to Hays City and he was the deputy marshal again. And by 1869, by election, he had become the sheriff. But within 2 months, Wild Bill had killed 2 people. And one he killed because the gentleman, if he was a gentleman, was just a drunken mess causing a ruckus. Second one was a cowboy who was also causing a ruckus, but he also called Wild Bill some names. That didn't work out so well for that cowboy. As you can imagine, Hickok did not win the second election, but he went on to become the marshal of Abilene County. In Abilene County, Hickok killed Phil Coe and accidentally killed his special deputy marshal, Mike Williams. 1876, Wild Bill married Agnes Thatcher, and he was also diagnosed with glaucoma. With his health declining and glaucoma, and he was an excellent marksman, imagine, he decided to join the Charlie Utter. No, Calamity Jane did this as well, same year. In 1876, he makes his way to Deadwood. And in Deadwood, he hopes to make his riches in the Black Hills, and the Black Hills are absolutely gorgeous out here. So, but he's a gambler, loves to play poker, and so on August 1st, 1876, he's playing poker at Nuttall and Mann Saloon, number 10. It's now called the number 10 Saloon down in town. Wild Bill always sat with his back to the wall. And on August 1st, he was sitting with his back to the wall. And he was playing 5-card draw or 5-card stud. That's what he usually liked to play. And a seat opened up and a man named Jack McCall sat down and was playing with him. Jack McCall was drunk. Jack McCall was losing big time. Jack McCall lost so bad he didn't have enough money for breakfast the next day. Wild Bill was nice enough to give him money for breakfast. That was a big insult to Jack McCall. So Jack McCall took the money for breakfast anyhow, though that was a big insult. That night ended, and the next day, Wild Bill came back to the same saloon to play and gamble again. He came to sit down in his same spot, but a guy named Charlie Rich was sitting in his spot. So Wild Bill had to take a different seat, couldn't have his back to the wall, which was unusual. We don't know why that happened. We don't know why Charlie Rich wouldn't give up his seat. It'll never be known. Enters the saloon Jack McCall, who seems to be angry, and he had his .45 Colt model 1853 single action Army revolver with him. He took that Army revolver and he put it to the back of Wild Bill's head. And he shouted, it's very strange words, "Damn you, take that," the back of Wild Bill's head. And he shot Wild Bill, killing Wild Bill instantly. That shot went through his cheek and hit another man. In fact, I wanted to let you know that he was playing 5-card stud at the time, or 5-card draw. We'll never know what the card in the hole was, but he was holding 2 black aces and 2 black 8s. That is known as the dead man's hand. His funeral was held at Charlie Utter's camp, and he was originally buried at Ingleside, and he was moved a couple years later up here and placed next to Calamity Jane. There's 2 rumors that I wanted to tell you about. Calamity Jane was either buried next to him as a posthumous joke, that is one thing that has been told, or buried next to him because they were such good friends. Another thing that was told is that Calamity Jane was brought from Terry to Deadwood by the city just to pull in revenue. So more on Wild Bill and Deadwood. If any of you have watched the Deadwood series, Calamity Jane, Charlie Utter, and Wild Bill are all portrayed in the series Deadwood. One thing I wanted to tell you is that if you can get a chance to get here, you've got to get here. This is absolutely fantastic. And remember, family tree nuts, let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.